Okay, I'm changing out the rotors on my 2006 Land Rover LR3. Here's some of the items you're going to need at first. You're going to need something to take the lug nuts off with, a 1/4 inch Allen wrench. You're going to need a 13mm socket. You're also going to need a 13/16 socket. You need a socket wrench, some channel locks, something like this. I'm using a little garden trowel, and a C-clamp or a little vice clamp, something like that. Here's the new rotors I'm putting on. You're also going to want to go ahead and put your Land Rover on the lowest setting, like the access setting, and you're going to want to go ahead and open one of the doors, passenger doors, and we're going to go ahead and take this wheel off. Okay, we have the wheel off, and what you're going to do is you're going to take off this screw right up here at the top. You're also going to take off this one right down here at the bottom. If you can look right here, you're going to need to put your channel locks right there and to unscrew it on both the top and the bottom one. Okay, we're going to go ahead and unscrew these right back here. And I already took that one out. You're going to go ahead and remove your brake cap. Let's see here. Just like that. I'm hanging mine right down here. This little bolt. Now you're going to remove. Let's see if I can get right back up in here. There's these screws right back. These nuts back up in here. You're going to use your 13/16 socket back here on these. They're a little bit more difficult to take off. I would try using some penetrating oil or something like that. You have one down here. You also have one right back up in here, if it'll focus. One at the top. There's only two. But like I said, I would use some gloves, and anyways, I'd go ahead and use those. But like I said, you're gonna need to put some penetrating oil on those and let it sit in, and then take it off. Okay, I went ahead and got the bolts back up in here loosened. You need to take out both of them. You're also going to take off this. Let's see here. I just set this right here. You're going to want to go ahead and you're going to want to go ahead and take out the brakes out of here. If you're replacing the brakes, don't worry about setting them down gently. But if not, go ahead and make sure sit down. Go ahead and inspect them and make sure your brakes are good. If they have any uneven wearing or anything like that on them, these are pretty good. They don't have anything major going on with them, so I'm gonna go ahead and reuse these. Alright, your next step is what I'm gonna use the trowel for. Since I'm gonna go ahead and reuse my brakes, I need to use something besides a brake. So, brake pad. So, this is where your trowel and your clamp, vice clamp, C-clamp, whatever you want to use. You're going to want to go ahead and set it like so, right in front of, right here, in your brake caliper. While you have that on, you're going to want to go ahead and put your clamp on. I'm going to go ahead and move it better direction and better viewing. Okay, this is what you're doing. I went ahead and already pushed this one back up in there. What you do is you're going to attach your clamp up here. If you have a C-clamp, this is the same basic concept principle. You're going to lay this like this, and see how this is sticking out down here. You're going to go ahead and push push it back up in there. As your rotor wears, it pushes out a little bit further. So whenever you go to put on your new rotors, it won't fit. So you're going to have to go ahead and push these back up in there. So, go ahead and push, turn them. It's not that hard. It's really not. Okay, for your next step, you're going to need your Allen wrench. It's a 1/4-inch Allen wrench. And you're going to stick it right up in here. Sometimes this does get a little frozen up, so you want to put some of that penetrating oil on there or something. I went ahead and already broke mine loose. And you're just going to take it out. And you're going to want to take off your rotor. Now, these rotors, they do get a little froze up, and they do want to attach to your hub. What you want to do is you're going to get a hammer or something, or whatever, especially if you're not saving the rotor, which the whole purpose of this video is to get the rotors off. You're going to want to go ahead and hit it and get it off. So it's going to come off like so. Okay, here's your new rotor. What you're going to do, this is where your the lug nuts attach, up in here, and this is where the Allen screw went. So make sure you do have it aligned. These things are heavy, so I'm going to need both hands. Okay, I already have the new rotor on here. I went ahead and went with some different from the OEM ones. Since the OEM ones, they do not last, and if you're a Land Rover owner, you know that the brakes and the rotors do not last on this heavy of a vehicle. So I went ahead and got the ones that they're drilled, and they do have the slots in them. It's supposed to help on the heat from the rotor warping. So I'm going to try them out. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to go ahead and put your Allen screw back up in here. You're going to go ahead and tighten it in. And really you're just going to go back to the reverse process of what you've seen. Just tighten it on there. And like I said, you also need to go ahead and clean these rotors. They do have oils and stuff on them from the manufacturers. So I'll go ahead and clean them real good. And, you know, I mean, it ain't got to be perfect, but, you know, it's always safe than sorry. Alright, your next step is you're going to go ahead and put the caliper back on. You're going to go ahead and attach the 2 bolts that was back up in here. You're going to want to go ahead and get those connected and on there, but no, you don't want to put them on tight. Make sure you go ahead and put your brakes on. They're pretty simple to put on, but they can be a little tricky. Okay, I have both of the brakes on there. You want to go ahead and put those as close to the rotors as they will get. Then you're going to go ahead and go back here, and you're going to want to go ahead and tighten these all the way. And you're going to go ahead and get them as tight as you can. Like so. Alright, well, here we go. We're going to put this main piece back on here. This piece will not go on there if you haven't pushed those pistons back. So, you're going to want to go ahead and put this on there. Then those small nuts back up in here that you put on with the 13mm, you're going to want to go ahead and tighten those up. Remember, you have to use channel locks back up in here to tighten that. So like I said, wear gloves. I already have a cut. So you're going to want to go ahead and tighten both of those up. And these are pretty rusted. They're not real bad, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those. I might try to go ahead and put a rust inhibitor on there later on. But alright, you're going to want to go ahead and put those nuts back on there. So you want to go ahead and tighten those on pretty tight. Okay, well, this is the end. We have the rotors changed. Everything's back up in place after we screw those down up in here real tight. All that's left now is to put your wheels back on your vehicle and lower the jack, and clean up all your mess, and you will be good to go.